But if I'm entering into an environment that requires me to change my hair, then I'm just going to opt out altogether. And I think because if you are encouraging me to straighten my hair, you are encouraging assimilation, and an environment that encourages assimilation is never going to value me as I am, because there's going to be more than just my curls that I have to contain when I'm in those spaces.
Ooh,
So I
yes,
think,
girl. Yes, that's the line right there. I'm sorry. There's more I'm going to have to contain. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Sophie Hannah.
Hi, I'm Luanda Yasmin.
I'm Anissa.
I'm Linda E, and welcome to episode 10 of Ethnically Speaking. We are in double digits. How did this happen? We are four fabulously smart, curious, and opinionated, highly melanated women representing the UK, and we are here to discuss everything affecting our communities, from pop culture to current affairs, everything in between, and you can always trust us to keep it 100. There will be no tiptoeing around and technically speaking, because today we are ethnically speaking. Oh, Luanda babes. What's on your mind today, girl?
Wow. You know what? Let's just get into the tough questions straight away, okay?
You're not even going to ease us in. You're not even going to ease us
Somebody
in.
said no tiptoeing. So,
Say that.
we're all aware, we all know that there are so many high-profile people who have been accused of sexual assault, like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, Woody Allen, all of them and there. However, there are still so many people who are comfortable with either working with them if they're in the entertainment industry, or supporting their music and their movies or whatever it is that they create. So do you think that you should be able to separate the art from the artist, or do you think that we shouldn't engage with the work of people who have been accused of committing such serious crimes?
To be honest, I don't think that you can separate the art from the artist. I don't think you can. I think as artists, your work, your creativity, even if it's a small part, it's linked to your experiences, who you are, the person that you are. Like, that's part of where your art and creativity comes from. You're like, you can be inspired by other things, but it still comes from inside of you. So I don't think you can separate it. Now, you've named some big hitters. Let me focus on Michael Jackson and R. Kelly. Like, there's also the director Roman Polanski, and he is an Oscar winner, and he was accused of, he actually raped a young girl. He's admitted that he had sex with her, but she was underage. So he says sex, she's 13, it was rape. I'm not even going to get into that. So for me, it might be easy to say that I'm not going to engage with Roman Polanski's work because I don't really watch his films. I'm not a big fan of his. But let's say we're talking about Michael Jackson and R. Kelly. These are people who made music all through the years when I was growing up. Like, their music heavily influenced a lot of the places that I went, where I heard music, when I went raving. And it's much more difficult for me to say I'm never going to engage because they're linked to memories. They weren't just random people to me. But it's difficult when you hear R. Kelly's music and then he's talking about age ain't nothing but a number, because I'm just like, no, you meant that. He
really did.
You meant that. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sophie. Personally, for me, I believe like an artist's work is an extension of themselves. So it's hard for me to separate the two. It's difficult when it's an artist that you support and was like, that they were almost like a part of your everyday life. I don't know how to explain it. And then all of a sudden, you have to be like, oh. I mean, luckily for me, like, all the people we named were people who I was never particularly interested in. So for me to stop like listening to R. Kelly and I personally feel like I was too young for Michael Jackson and all these other people. Like, it was easy for me to just kind of separate myself from that. But it's like now for me, it's not even that sexual assault. It's when an artist does something that's just cruel to another human. I always have to sit there and look at myself and go, dang, can I still support them? And it's like, this is a little off topic, but similar to like now we're looking at the situation of, you know, who shot Megan? Was it Tory? Like, when a Tory Lane song comes on in my playlist now, I just like hesitate. I'm like, oh my God, can I listen to this, or is he a woman shooter? Like, I don't know. Like, I get so much guilt, and I just like, do you know, I have to stop until the issue is resolved. So that's the only thing that I take personal. It's hard. It's really hard.
Thing is, I love the angle that Anissa brought in, because that's what I was gonna come with. You know, I think, obviously, I do not condone in any shape or form any of these disgusting acts. I just want to know, you know, should we just stop associating with criminals then? Because if you think about it, a lot of these, and I know you can't really compare rape to, say, a robbery or narcotic charges, etc. But even
better
things
rob that bank.
No, someone give me that shmoney. But you know, all of these crimes are crimes against people. Even people that are drug dealers, you know, the drugs that they are dealing are affecting communities. So then, should we just stop listening to the majority of the music industry? Should we stop watching the majority of film? Because if we research every single person, they have a history, you know, and we're going back, if even down to the early days of music, and some people that I can't even remember their names to name, they have, you know, criminal histories. So for me, I'm just like, I really don't know. A part of me wants to be able to separate the art and the artiste. You know, a part of me really wants to be able to do that. But I'm like, if I don't do that, then, you know, do I have any right listening to Tory Lanez? Should I cancel Ambush? Could I take him off my playlist? You know, he's been accused of certain things. And is it only the accused or the people that have been found guilty? Because where do we draw the line? So it's just such a tough question.
Girl, you're asking so many good questions. There's a lot. I'm like, there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I do struggle with separating the art from the artist, but I also have no intention to start trying to. And there has been, I'm just going to be honest.
Fair enough.
I'm the kind of person that when I like something, like a movie or a song, or so I want to know more. So I'm just not going to be doing that. It's just not going to be me. But I do think there have been celebrities who have done something that made me want to stop supporting them. But when this does happen, I'm always still open to them rectifying their mistakes. And when that happens, you know, welcome them with open arms and stuff like that. I'll welcome you back into my spotlight.
Welcome the new album. Arms. Yes, I'm so thankful for the new album.
You know what I mean? I'm so thankful for a new person, but I think obviously because we mentioned, like you said, Sophie, like some hard hitters, these are like huge crimes. So for me, the worse the offense is, the more you need to redeem yourself. And obviously there are so many people who have no interest in doing that. They have no interest in learning and no interest in growing. So to answer what you said, Linda, I think for me, if someone has done something that I don't agree with, but they have gotten to the place where they've learned and they've grown and they're past it, I'm all for supporting them again and consuming their art. But there are people, let me just not even name names because I could I could go ranting, but there are people who No.
You look conflicted, girl.
But there are people who don't care. They know that they're hurting people and they don't care. So those kind of people are not going to maneuver their way through my headphones into my eardrums, because when I'm listening to your music, I'm just going to be thinking of you and what you did. So I have to just, for me, I can't enjoy it. I have to leave it there.
Yeah. Does circumstance ever change your mind? And what I'm about to say is because, like, taking it way back, but when the Chris Brown Rihanna thing happened, I was young, and I know they were young and stuff, and obviously that was a big thing. But I can say now in 2020, I'll openly admit it, I listen to Chris Brown, and I don't think it's a taboo. No one really like gives you the face when you go, oh, I listen to Chris Brown.
Everyone celebrated again.
Yeah, everyone listens to Chris Brown, and then I don't know if his situation got more acceptance because he was younger. So I'm thinking, does circumstance matter here? That's what I'm thinking. It's a question. Do you think circumstance matters?
I think it's really tough because I feel very conflicted about the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing. I don't really listen to Chris Brown's music, and I think I was part of that era when it was kind of like, should we, shouldn't we? But from my own personal experience, like I worked for the NHS, I had to do courses in violence and abuse, and we talked about domestic violence, and they said pretty much no domestic abuser can be rehabilitated. They will always remain violent. Yeah. Like they went, it just doesn't happen. And I think that's what has made it so difficult for me with the Chris Brown situation. Because if someone's done grand larceny or robbery or something like that, then I'm like, okay, they can be rehabilitated. But if what I was taught, that's why I'm all going to talk about the study that I went through when I worked for the NHS. If someone can't be rehabilitated and he still have those behaviors, like Karuchi Tran has come out and said, actually, she was physically hit by him. She has alleged that. For me, I'm just like, it's like, I don't know if he's working on that, because is it something he can even work on? And I think that's where it becomes so problematic. The reason why Chris Brown has been allowed to stay in the public consciousness is because he's still making people money. If he wasn't, then they'd cast him out. And I think that's the difficult thing. All these people, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, they've been making money for people, so they're fine with it. And then when Me Too came in and Harvey Weinstein was really blown up and not making money, then we're happy to discard him. So...
Yep. Sophie, you're absolutely right.
I think there's layers to that one, though, to be honest, in terms of the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation, because I don't just think it's about money, Sophie. I think there's a lot of privilege attached to him having abused her. And I say that because when I didn't watch the Surviving R. Kelly documentary because I was not planning on putting myself through that at all, but I did watch an interview with Chance the Rapper, who once worked with R. Kelly and said that he regrets it now. He said that we are like programmed to be paying attention more to like black male oppression. And so he saw R. Kelly as a victim. And there was an interview that Rihanna did with Gayle, I think, where she ended her restraining order early because she was saying that she felt sorry for Chris. So there are circumstances that affect how well you're going to be able to progress in the industry, because I doubt that if it was like a woman who had beaten up a man, if she would still be so successful to this day.
Oh, I disagree with you there. I disagree with you there, Luanda. Do you know why? Your friend Megan Thee Stallion, she went on camera to say that she had an altercation with an ex-boyfriend when she found out that he was cheating. Your other friend Cardi B, who has said, you know, she went on. She also no, all three of your friends, all three of your friends, yeah. No, I ain't invited to that party. Even your friends, Cardi B. She's come out to say how she used to drug men and take their money. So I feel like if women had said that, you know, if it had been a woman, no, she would be probably more successful. Yeah, there would have been a way to spin it. Another thing, I think, no. I just think, oh my days, I think this question is just so, I can't, every time I think I'm on a particular side, I feel like I'm switching sides, because I think the fundamental is what Sophie said though. I think it boils down to money. And I think if you think about society as a whole, not just the entertainment industry, the sports industry, finance industry, every single industry, unfortunately, has people that are wicked, you know, have people, and historically, you know, have people in empires who just do unthinkable things. But because they have power, they have influence, and they have wealth, they're able to get away with it. Otherwise, we'd have to shut down half of humanity.
Yeah. And I think one of the issues for me is that the entertainment industry would rather keep working with people who are alleged abusers, and there's a lot of back history of examples and testimony stories, rather than looking for new talent. Like they say 5% of the people who want to make it in music make it, let alone whoever becomes successful directors. Like you can sing, but if you want to get to the level of Chris Brown, you can be a director, but if you're not going to get to the level of Woody Allen and to be able to pay your bills, but they would rather keep those people working because they're like, well, Woody Allen's a sure thing. Like, regardless of what he's alleged of, he's a sure thing. And finding someone else, I don't know, because R. Kelly and Michael Jackson are musical geniuses. No one can tell me nothing. They are musical geniuses, but they can't be the only ones. But people have wanted to rely on them because they're like, yeah, they're reliable. If you get R. Kelly on the track, it's gonna sell, whether he's writing it or producing it or whatever. So I think there's a lot of, not blame, there's a lot of responsibility that needs to go around into making sure people are held accountable.
Well, I think what you said is really interesting, Sophie, because you just said these guys are great, but they can't be the only ones that are great. And we know that for a fact, because we all know people entering into the entertainment industry that are brilliant, but are not as exposed or not as recognized currently. I think that people don't want to practice mindful consumption. People are not motivated to like put their money where their mouth is, or put their money where their streaming is, because we just want to have whatever we like and not think about it. And also because people don't think that they're powerful enough to make a difference. But every YouTube click, every click on a Spotify playlist, like, it affects something, it affects someone. So I think that there is an ethical version of the thing that you want in this day and age. In this 2020, there is an ethical version of anything that you want, and you just have to try and find it, and just bit by bit find different versions of the things that you want, instead of thinking grandly, like people be, oh, this is too much of a big task because there's so many things, like my shopping, my clothes, my trainers. Just start one thing at a time, and then we'll get there.
Because I think the thing is, as you're saying, Luanda, it comes down to self-sacrifice, and it's about whether we're willing to self-sacrifice our own comfort or my own childhood memories of R. Kelly growing up and his music, and be like, actually, there's things that are more important. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't even know what the entertainment industry would be like if it wasn't for these controversial artists, which actually leads me on to thinking about our friends, Cardi B. Your friend.
My friend. She's my friend.
Sorry. Everyone's friend. Luanda's friend especially. Luanda's friend especially.
Hello.
It makes you think of Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, who just released their new single last week called WAP. Now, this song has been doing phenomenally well. It's gotten over 100 million views on YouTube. It's gone certified gold in America, which means it sold 500,000 copies. But it has also caused a lot, in a week. It has also caused a lot of controversy because it has sexually explicit lyrics and a very provocative music video. Have you ladies seen the video?
Of course we have, multiple times. I've replayed that.
For those of you who haven't seen WAP, the word WAP actually stands for an acronym for a well-lubricated vagina. I stumbled on that. Vagina. I'll say it again. Now, the reason why there's been so much outrage is because the song has been a clear example of women like Cardi and Megan talking about their sexual desire, their sexual prowess, their sexual wants and needs, very much like men have been doing in music. But people have come out like CeeLo Green, who has said that female artists and rappers, he's just very disappointed with them on a moral and a professional level, which I think is... Girls, we're going to have to talk about that one. Anyways, and also conservative commentator Ben Shapiro has come out and asked the question, is this what feminists have been fighting for? Now, because you ladies have seen the video, I want to ask you, do you think WAP is an anthem for sexual liberation and female empowerment? Or do you think because of its explicit lyrics, it's just another way that we're perpetuating the over-sexualization of Black women?
Wow, let me talk about your friends, if y'all don't mind, right? My thing about that song is this. Why is it that these are the artists that are being pushed by mainstream media? And now the argument of, yes, men do the same thing and men, you know, are celebrated, etc. But let's not lie, this whole system is a patriarchal system. These conventions, these notions, these everything... The sexualization of women is all because it's all coming from a male gaze. It's a male preference. So when you're using something that is a male preference to empower women, until that male preference is decimated, I can't wholly see it as you know, empowering. And I'm sorry, you know, my thing is also, where is the variety? Because even as you say that loads of male rappers talk about these things, which they do, people are constantly criticizing them, but there are also other successful male rappers that don't talk about things like this, like the J. Cole's, like the Kendrick Lamar's. But for some reason, the industry that we're in has decided to only give that proper backing to female artists that want to talk about well lubricated vajayjays. Like, give me a Tierra Whack, you know, like, give me a Rhapsody, like, put them in front of me. Yes, part of it is, sorry ladies, I'm going on, yeah, part of it is, you know, my responsibility to find what it is that I want to hear. But I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. Like, that, they really missed the chance to give me a proper female anthem. And don't get it twisted. There's a song from like 1935. Like, was it 1935? I think it might have been even earlier. Like, it's almost earlier, and it's talking about, you know, what this woman's gonna do to this man, and, you know, with her mouth and other bits and pieces. So it's not about us being provocative. It's not about us being sexual creatures. That didn't just start today. But give me variety, give me something more, and then I can be like, okay, boom, you're giving me a lot, enough. Until then, I'm sorry, WAP ain't doing it for me.
Oof.
I feel like I need a moment to take it all in. So.
Like,
because I'm
everyone
stewing
just
on my
completely
thoughts.
paused.
I know that was silence.
I'm stewing on my thoughts. Because Linda said a lot of good comments. I'm just stewing on my thoughts.
I just think you took it really deep, Linda. Like you have such a bubbly personality, but I can tell that this one really hits you hard. I have to say, for me, I think it is a catchy ass song. Honestly, I cannot get the song out of my head, but do I find it sexually liberating? No, I don't. Like, I feel sexually liberated when I can share my sexual desire with the person I'm in a committed relationship with, and I can talk about what I want and what I don't want and what I like and what I don't like. That video doesn't make me feel sexually liberated, because I'm like, if I want to talk about it, I can. Though I find it empowering? No, I didn't find it empowering either. And I didn't find it disempowering. For me, I'm like, it's just a song. It doesn't reflect me. And to a certain degree, I don't even think it reflects Cardi and Megan. They're making music that they know will sell. Cardi B's entire career is based on her breasts and her bum and her physical aesthetic and talking about money and sex and things like that. So that's the lane she has fitted herself into. And I don't have an issue with it. It's when people want to take it on and say, yeah, this is good for all women. I'm just like, speak for yourself, and I'm going to speak for me.
Period.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still connecting my thoughts, but I'll speak. I agree with Sophie. I didn't feel like it was empowering, but I was never under the guise that it was meant to be a female empowerment song. Do you know what I mean? Because I never heard Cardi or Meg say, this is gonna empower you girls. So I never took it as it was going to empower me. So I never thought it. I mean, personally, I like Cardi and I like Meg, and I listened to them both. I personally didn't like the song. I just thought the song wasn't that good. Did I enjoy the video? Of course, because I'm a visual person. I really enjoyed the aesthetics. But I didn't like the song. So for me, it was kind of like, I watched it once, liked the video, and then I moved on. But then I keep seeing people post little videos or little captions of the clips, and that's how I'm getting the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, for me, I didn't find it... It's so tough because I know that Cardi and Megan have a particular market, right? And it's where they're over-sexualized and it's all the body. Oh, yes. And...
oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like, yes. And see, honestly, my thoughts are so scattered, I can't even pull a sentence together, because I'm with Linda, right? We have great artists, like even I listen to like Rhapsody and Sire, and there's so many good female rappers, but will they ever get the same shot as Cardi or Meg? Because they're not talking about their body? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest. I really just don't think so. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Cardi and Meg's video, to me, it was just like an expression of their femininity. Do you know what I mean for me? And so when I watched that video, I just thought to myself, wow, they look good. And then I thought about myself and thought, wow, I look good. And then I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like I just want to dance in the mirror just to look at myself, because I just feel like I look good. Like that was all that I got from the video. Like, okay,
because you do look good, girl. Okay.
Yeah, with that red lip, that sexy red lip.
Oh, and you got a hoop? Is that a hoop?
I'm about to do a song called Bar, Big Ass Hoops. Yeah, when I watched the video, it just made me want to express my femininity more. But then I had to check myself and think, like, am I wanting to express my femininity more because it's what I want to do, or if it's because it's what I've been fed by patriarchy? And so I've just been going through an internal battle, basically. Yeah. And so that's why whatever I've just said makes no sense. And let's move on to Lawanda.
Mate, everything you said is fine. You've been making sense. It's fine. I've been only silent because I've been thinking, just because you know, Linda said, give me some variety, but it's obvious that, like you said, give me some variety and then named variety that exists. But obviously there's no, because, you know, I'll listen to Megan Thee Stallion and then I'll listen to No Name, and it's obvious that sex sells. Like, that is not a secret, and we've all just agreed that, you know, sexually explicit female rappers are going to be more exposed than non-explicit female rappers, and that's just like the way it is at the moment because of the like shock factor of everything, right? But personally, in terms of WAP, like, I don't have a problem with this. I like what the song stands for, because I like to see women talk about what they want and how they like it, because I'm sick and so used to men talking about how they're going to obtain pleasure from a woman's body. And I
That was
think
well
a lot.
phrased. Like that.
Very articulately put.
Very well phrased.
I think that sometimes women see sex as a gift to give to straight men, or straight men see sex as a gift to receive from us. And that frustrates me, because sex is supposed to be a shared experience. Like, all parties involved are supposed to be gaining pleasure from this experience. And a lot of the time people, well, I say women, are focused on, you know, getting the male partners to their happy ending, whilst never actually considering their own desires. So I think a song like this makes you actually question, am I enjoying myself? Do I need to do more? Like, I absolutely want women to be enjoying sex so much that they write a song about it. Like, I want women to be enjoying sex so much that they need a bucket and a mop for this WAP. Like, I'm happy about it. For real.
I just think, like, I am all for women talking about what they want sexually, and I think that should be said. Women should be able to have those conversations. But I just think, like, The Guardian wrote an article talking about how the video is celebrating sexy, and for me, I'm just like, and that's the only way we can be sexy?
And how's that different from OnlyFans?
How is that the only way we can talk about sex? Like, if I want to be sexy, then I need to be basically in underwear gyrating, and I'm just like, it doesn't look at sexiness like it's on a spectrum, because I've seen guys who have watched the video and they're like, it did nothing for me. It was just so overt. It was basically kind of like porn, but they're like, cool, they look hot. And then I've watched some videos of men reacting to it, and all they did was sexualize them. They were just like, oh, Megan can do the splits. Man, didn't even know that. And all this stuff. They weren't watching this video saying, man, how can I please her more so that she gets into a state with like Cardi and Megan do, because I want to please my woman like that. That's not what men are thinking. And I think that's what makes it difficult when people think, well, this is how we need to aspire to be sexually free and sexually liberated, because I'm like, that's not for everybody.
You talked about, you know, women being able to have these conversations.
Yeah.
The thing is, the circles I run in, me and my girls be forever having these conversations, you know, and I'm just being honest with you. And I think sometimes that's the difficulty in generalizing, because my girls and I, we talk about sex explicitly. Like, we are not shy. We will talk about what we like, what we don't like, what we've done, what we ain't done, what we plan to do. And I feel free enough and comfortable. No, that's not, if we're going to get down and dirty, if we're going to get gritty about this, we've been having these convos. No, but you understand, we be talking about what we're looking to do. Oh, God, check what I did. Do you know what I mean? And that's us being proud of what we are capable of, you know. And I'm also very comfortable to speak to my partner, and we will back up and have 1, 2, 2 combos. Like, what's next? How about this? What's popping? And you know what I mean? So I feel like these conversations are already happening. But like Sophie said, I think for me, okay, personally, I agree with Nisa. I don't think that song's very good, personally. I love Bodak Yellow. I love Be Careful With Me. You know, I think Cardi B has some tunes. Come on, Cardi B has some bangers where she's not just talking about her WAP, she's talking about being bossy and getting money, and she's riding the beat, and sonically these songs are bangers. So I'm not saying I'm not a Cardi fan, even though this song has really put me off her more. But, you know, the song itself to me, it's just trash. The song isn't even good. And on top of that, the video is porn. It's as simple as that. It is porn. There's one part where Cardi has tassels on and she's, you know, it's porn. How is that any different to OnlyFans? And now she's got an OnlyFans account too. Come out of here, man.
She's going to be giving advice on the OnlyFans. Does that make it better?
Advice to who?
My friend, put it on IGTV.
I don't know, guys. I'm just saying what she said, that she's giving advice. My problem is not really just... I can't tell you what advice. I'd have to sign up to tell you specifically. But my issue is not even with like the video or whatever. I really don't like chatty patty men that are in women's business. I really just don't like it. So CeeLo Green, I kind of just like I'm just lost at to. You don't even comment on normal music, or we just don't hear your comments. So why are you coming to comment on women's business? I feel like it has nothing to do with you. Yes, you're free to your opinion, but in the discussion of women and their bodies, it has nothing to do with you, Playboy. I just don't want to hear you, Playboy.
You know, he backtracked. He backtracked on that statement and said, you know, he supports everyone who is pretty much black. Paraphrasing.
We ain't giving CeeLo Green no airtime. Linda, the thing what you said about like having these conversations with your friend is fair enough, because like the friendship circles that I move in were about that life as well. So that's why it doesn't bother me to see women consensually talk about what they like to do and put it in their art. So why would it bother you if they're doing that if it has nothing to, do you know what I mean?
Firstly,
Like,
Loanda, it doesn't bother me. I just don't buy that it's empowerment. Anyone who's come to tell me that's empowering is chatting and are just jumping on bandwagons, because I'm a woman who talks hardcore about sex, and I don't want to see that or hear that. So for me,
why?
because it's crap, it's trash. The song does nothing for no one, and I want to ask you, will you be happy to have your daughter learn about sex through that song? Because we've got to remember, what are we putting into society and feeding the next generations? And don't get twisted, we all know that I care about women. But we have to. People say it's not that deep, but it
No, I'm
is that
increasing
deep.
that Sophie's leave.
Oh, shame. Because, sorry, I didn't even see. Because it's all about consumption. So we all know, as a female, I love having my rights. I love speaking my mind. I love doing this and doing that. I just want to be mindful of what we are feeding future generations. I'm sorry, whole life is not, I'm not for whole life. If that's what you're aspiring to be, that's fine. You aspire to be that elsewhere. But for me, it's just not it, man.
I agree with you, Linda, because I saw an interview with Cardi. They were talking about WAP, and they went, "How would you feel for your daughter culture to watch it?" And she was like, She went, well, not at her age, obviously, when she gets older. And I would just tell her, it's mummy's job. And my thing is, it's like, Cardi knows that this is a job. We are the fools in society if we take this and believe that all she thinks a woman needs is to have a WAP, and that's going to keep a man, that's going to make her life really good. Because I'm like, she took back her husband that had cheated on her, and not because he was great in bed, because she loves him, because she wants to work on it, because she has a family with him. And I think we sell women short, and we sell relationships short, when all we want to talk about is girls aspiring to a mop and a bucket and this and that. Because I'm like, it's a lie. These women want to be held at night. They want to feel loved. They want to feel like someone cares about them past the point of what they look or whether their tummy tuck didn't work. That's what they want. So when we see girls saying like, oh, this is really aspiring, I'm just like, Cardi doesn't even believe that. So don't fool yourself into thinking that she thinks that's the only thing that's going to get her ahead in the world, because it's not.
But these women are multifaceted. No one's thinking that this is the only road that they can go down. Like, Cardi B's like spoken about politics, Megan Thee Stallion, they speak out about things. So they can want to be held at night and also want a WAP simultaneously. Yeah. Why, like, yeah, so what's wrong with it?
Okay, so then why didn't they bring out a song about that? Why didn't they remake Brandy and Monica the song?
Be careful.
But as a collaboration though. But that's the thing. My question is, as a collaboration, why was this the collaboration they chose?
Look, I'm with you 100% because like in talking about that, like those women are multifaceted. But I watched a video of some women reacting to this video, and they were just like, "Yeah, that WAP needs to be good because then he'll pay your tuition." That's right. And I'm just like, guys, don't fall into this, because, like, for me, it's the people who are watching that can't separate and see that people are multifaceted that I have a problem with. Because that's why I can take this song or leave it, because I'm like, they're not 100% serious about this. But some women do think. Women who are out there like, if I go to the strip club, then I'm going to be just like Cardi, and I'm going to get the money just like Cardi. And I'm like, Megan Thee Stallion is paying for herself to go back to school and to study at university. She wants more than that from her life. So yeah, talk about your university degree as well. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, we're talking a lot.
Okay, ladies, I feel like it was getting hot in here, basically. It was steaming. So if you like what you have seen so far, guys, make sure you like, give us a thumbs up, put a comment down below, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and of course subscribe. So we have spoken about separating the art from the artiste. We've also spoken about whether we thought WAP was a female empowerment, sexual liberation song, and of course we had some very strong opinions, but we are switching gears a little bit. Okay, so new research has published from the journal Social, Psychological and Personality Science, and they basically revealed that Black women with natural hairstyles, in particular curly afros or braids or twists, are less likely to get a job interview than white women or Black women with straightened hair. And that's because natural hairstyles are perceived to be as less professional. So what do you ladies think about this? And how do you decide to wear your hair? Like, what throws in the towel for that one? You know what I mean?
I definitely understand the experience, the convenience, and the access that it is attached to being a Black woman with straight hair. However, I don't feel like I'm going to ever change myself to make other people feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm going to change my hair to make other people feel comfortable. I might change it for creative purposes if it's on my terms, if it's what I want. I might rock a wig if I'm in the mood, or get some braids if I'm going on holiday. But if I'm entering into an environment that requires me to change my hair, then I'm just going to opt out altogether. And I think because if you are encouraging me to straighten my hair, you are encouraging assimilation, and an environment that encourages assimilation is never going to value me as I am, because there's going to be more than just my curls that I have to contain when I'm in those spaces. So I
yes,
think,
girl. Yes, that's a line right there. I'm sorry. There's more I'm going to have to contain. I'm sorry. That was a line.
Because I don't feel upset at other women who choose to do that, but I think we should definitely be asking ourselves if it's worth it. Because, we'll make so many small changes to fit into a society that doesn't want us to be here. And then a couple of years down the line, we've completely lost ourselves when we try to turn back and get back to who we once were. So, maybe wear straight hair at the interview and bust out an afro after we pass probation. I don't know. I do recognize... You know what I mean? I do want to say, because, I'm like, I don't want to go in an environment that requires me to do that. But I do also recognize my privilege as a creative, that most scenarios, that's not going to be my experience, where it's completely different if you're like in corporate or something like that. So I get it.
For anyone who's listening via the podcast, I rock that shaved look, that TWA, that teeny weeny afro, all natural, it's not permed. And I've really gone for an evolution when it comes to my hair and my image. Growing up until the age, I'd say 19, I do my real hair for half the year, but always relaxed, always permed. And I do like single plaits for the other half of the year. And then when I hit about 19, I started to experiment with like a track. Adding a track for length, and then tutus, there's a track for length and a track for colour. And then before I knew it, it was a whole head of weave. And then before I knew it, I was full wig, and it was really strange because it's so strange. So one day, this must have been maybe 2 years ago, I've been rocking my hair like this for 2 years pretty much. I went to the cinema with my boyfriend, and I saw this woman who she was very, very natural. Everything about her hair wasn't permed. She just looked like a raw Nubian queen. And I made a comment to him like, oh, that's the kind of girl I could see you with. These times I was rocking my wig. And he was like, what do you mean by that? Like, what's that? Oh, no, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just meant, because of how he is, I can see him with someone who is fully natural. And tutus, I decided to cut my hair. And these two had no correlation, because if he had ever told me, oh, cut your hair, it would suit you, I'd be like, what are you trying to change me for? I love wig life. But it just so happened that the truth of the matter is, guys, I had a wig that I loved, right? But it was so expensive that I tried to recreate it with cheap hair, and the hair was just whack, right? And I kept on having to spend money on this fake version of this wig. And my sister said, why don't you just try and cut your hair? Like, let's see. And I was like, true. If I cut it and I don't like it, I can just pop a wig on to cover it. Ladies, I will never look back. Like, even on my wedding day, even people keep being like, oh, what are you going to do? My mom's like, you're gonna have a... No. On my wedding day, I'll wear a crown and a veil.
Yes,
I swear to you, man. I swear down, Listen, that is all. Like, I can't imagine life any other way. And I don't know why it took me so long to do this. And I've been very lucky as well. Like Luanda said, there is a privilege that comes with being a creative. And I will say that I feel as though the shortcut has become more popular and it's being more accepted.
Yeah.
So I've not really had to, look into, let me go and put a wig on quickly just for this thing. Like, I wake up and this is how you see me. And I honestly cannot even express to you how I cannot imagine myself with any other hairstyle. Like, I had a friend who wanted to manage me, and he was like, okay, what you need to do is be rocking wigs. And I was like, who? Like, you want to change me? Like, and it's just, honestly, and that's the thing. Listen, I'm still team wig. Like, when I see girls with a wig, I'm like, yes, baby girl, slay them baby hairs. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not one of those girls that are now natural and it's like, no, if it's natural or nothing, man, why is she doing? No. Females, do what you do. Like, I love to see it. For me personally, unless someone's paying me for a shoot, there ain't a wig touching the scalp. And that's that.
Girl, go ahead with it. I think that I think, like you said, it's now becoming more acceptable to wear our natural hair, because I remember when I was growing up, because I see my nieces now who are like 15 and 11, and wearing natural hair is just accepted. Whereas for me growing up, when you went to secondary school, that was like the time when you get your first relax, or maybe earlier, and it was a rite of passage. Like now I'm going to be grown up because I'm going to have my hair straightened and things like that. But I really like this wave back to kind of owning our natural hair. And for me, I don't wear my natural hair. My hair's natural because I wear wigs. I love wigs. Because I like the ease of it. I like being able to just put it on and go. Now, if you have a small afro like Linda, it's not a lot of work. But natural hair can be a lot of work, and I don't like the time and the effort for me, like doing like the Bantu knots or this and that. So that's why I've steered away from it. But I think that we can never catch a break sometimes, because if it's not the fact that our names don't sound European and we have to send in more applications, then we have to get past the nepotism because someone is hiring their friend's son who's come out of a top university that they got in because they were going to pay for the West Wing. And then now it's like when I turn up to the interviews, I might not get it because I've decided to wear my hair how it grows out of my head. Like,
say that again.
It just feels like we cannot catch a break, and there's all these
Real.
hoops that we have to jump through just to get the job, which they tell us our education qualifies us for, and it doesn't. So I'm very much with both Linda and Lawanda. Like, if you want to wear the wig, wear the wig. If you want to wear the wig to get the job and then you're going to bust it afro, do what's best for you. But just, do the hair choice that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Sophie. I was going to say, like, my hair journey has been a long one, and I am... Like, I work in offices and have worked in offices, you know, and so when I'm going for interviews, I am conscious about, oh my gosh, what hairstyle do I have? Because I'm the person that, you know, my hair changes from week to week, and I think we've seen it through the episodes. It will just change from week to week. And so it's like, I'm like, oh my God, like, what hair should I wear? And, you know, sometimes you'll find that I will go with, I've got so many different wigs, but I have a little wig that's like a kinky blowout texture wig, so it still has a little bit of texture to it. It's not silky European, but it's straight enough, so I'll cover that into the interview, right? And then after that, when I get the job, I'll change my hair according to how I continuously change my hair, and that comes with its own barrel of things, because I've had people, when I've turned up with like my big afro, I've had people say, oh, your hair's so crazy and wild today. I'm like, girl, it is not. I have made sure that my afro is on point, looks good, and everything is fine. Or they'll be like, oh my gosh, you changed your hair. I've spoken about it before on the show, that one time I got twist, and I did a like blonde and black twist, and I had a group of women swarm me to try to put their hands in my hair. Like, I've had all the hair drama in an office that you would have no idea about. Like, it's just been so insane, and I could see why some people may feel the pressure and be like, do you know what, I'm just going to wear some straight hair, I'll wear a straight wig, that's the only hair they're going to see me in 9 to 5, so I don't have to ask any questions. Because when I first started working in the office, that's what I thought. But then I just said to myself, I can't just keep containing myself, like Luanda said. I can't do it, I just cannot. So it's like, you know what, if my hair is going to change every week, that's what it's going to be. If you have questions about it, as I said before, a couple episodes ago, I'm going to ask Jill about how she got her ponytail like that. Because
your mate Jill.
Because I don't ask questions about your hair, so I don't need to ask questions about mine, and that's how I feel. And now, you know, obviously my hair's straight today, but I am a naturalista, you know, I've been natural for about 3 years, you know. I did a big chop like Linda, and then I grew it out. And I wear my hair whatever way I want to wear my hair. I do understand, though, that there are certain hairstyles that I wear that garner a different kind of attention from people. That's the best way I explain it. Yeah. So if my hair is straighter, I get so many compliments. Oh my gosh, your hair looks so nice, so nice. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then if my hair, for example, if I'm wearing like one of my little curly wigs, then I'll have like a lot of men approach me like, oh my gosh, because they think the curls are exotic. And so I've just grown up knowing that my hair garners attention from different groups of people, and I can't focus on what they're doing. I can only focus on what Anissa likes and what Anissa wants to change.
Yeah, I think I'm all here for like everyone having different styles depending on their mood and things like that, you know, being like natural in the summer and then having protective styles in the winter, or whatever it is that we want. But it frustrates me that they have different perspectives of us dependent on how we wear our hair, and especially in terms of professionalism, which really, really frustrates me, because I mean, I remember when everyone went crazy when we finally saw Michelle Obama with like some natural curls, because there's no way that you were ever going to be the first lady without them, you know what I mean, without having straight hair. And I just want to say, for anyone that doesn't already know, because obviously we all know, but for anyone that doesn't already know, the policing, like fighting back on the policing of black hair, is something that we have been doing for centuries. This is not a new issue. It just molds itself in different ways as we go on. And as a testament to that, in 1786, there was the start of the tie-on laws, because there was a lot of free black women walking around with their natural hair, and it was gaining attention of like French and Spanish and American and English men. And that was seen as a threat to the Caucasian couple. So by law, black women had to wear their hair in wraps as an attempt to conceal their beauty. So whilst we're dealing with all of these things, whilst we're trying to not let the way that we wear our hair affect our success and our accessibility, we also have to watch the same things that are condemned on us be celebrated on white people. We can see a white person attain some cane rows if they want to acquire a little bit of edge. The dreadlocks that were on us that were like dirty and unkept is now earthy on a white person. Bantu knots are now mini buns on the high fashion runway. Like, it is endless, and it's ridiculous for us to watch. So it's very clear to me that it's not black hair and it's not black hairstyles that is the problem. It is the unapologetic blackness that people want to contain.
Oh, girl, that's
no, I'm not there with another word.
That's a word right there.
But she's right. If you really deep it, you're absolutely right. And I think it's sad, it's tiring. But I love the fact that I feel like, I don't know if I want to say things are changing, but the circles that I move in the society that I can see currently, I'm seeing more and more highly melanated women stepping out and just being whoever they want to be. You know what I mean? And also speaking out when we see other people trying to culturally appropriate, you know, because I think we let things slide for a long time. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just think it's beautiful. Like, do you know what? For a while, when I first had my hair cut, anytime I saw a woman with short hair, I'd have to stop and compliment her. Like, it was just a thing. I swear to you, like, I'd be at a traffic light. I was like, Auntie, I like your hair, because her hair was short. I just love to see us being able to be us, and whatever version of us that may be, you know?
I 100% agree. Yes. And I think, do you know what I think is helping women wear more of their natural hair out? I think a lot of the products have got a lot better. Yes. That's what I personally say.
Accessibility.
Honestly, I personally feel like I would have never chosen to wear weaves and perms if my mum didn't make that choice for me. Personally, the choice was taken away from me, and that was because she didn't have the education around her own hair and, you know, everything that had happened before. Like we said, it was just like in your mind, you're gonna get a weave, you're gonna get a perm. I wouldn't have made that choice. I was content with my natural hair in primary school. There was nothing you could tell me. But now that we have natural hair products, if I ever have a child and I have a girl, like, I want her to wear her natural hair and I want her to rock it proudly. And that's a lot why I started my natural hair journey, so that if I do have a daughter, she can see mummy with her natural hair and mummy looks good, and she can feel just as positive about it as well.
100%. I really had a good example growing up, I'd say, because when I was growing up, my mom had dreadlocks down to her waist, and we were the kind of family where we were always encouraged to love everything black about us, you know. So I'm sure I probably would have asked for my hair to be straightened, but she would have been like, no, like, it's beautiful the way that it is. So then that starts me off as a young person. When I'm going into young adulthood and the world is telling me it's ugly, I can actually be like, I think you're wrong. I think it's cute, and I'm going to keep it.
I can definitely see you were brought up in that sort of home, Luanda, because you just rep for it. You rep for it day and night. So when you said, I'm like, yes, that sounds just what I thought.
It makes sense. It's on brand.
Yes.
It's on brand for me.
Well, so funny. Speaking about, you know, how can I put this? Ambitious Luanda, you know, speaking about fearless black women, to a fearless black woman. Now, ladies, I don't know if you've seen this, right? But Joe Biden, so he is the Democratic presidential candidate for this year's elections in the USA. And last week, he named his running mate. So the running mate is, the vice president. And historically, he's chosen the first African-American woman, Senator Kamala Harris.
What?
Listen.
Sophie's friend.
Wait, Sophie's mate. Wow. Sophie, your mate ain't having it easy, right? Because people close to Biden are coming out to say, no, she's too ambitious. She's just focusing. Her real focus is that she wants to be president herself. May I just tell you guys, right, that 14 out of the 45 presidents of the United States of America were previously vice presidents. Yeah, just a little bit of that for that. But do you think that some men are just intimidated by ambitious women, and why?
I'm going to take this one first, I'll say. First of all, I just want to point out, I'm pretty sure Joe himself was a vice president.
Yes, he was.
He was.
Exactly.
8 years.
So I don't understand why Kamala wanting to be a vice president is wrong. She's following in the steps of Joe, so it's very confusing. Yeah, please know it's confusing for Anita. So personally for me, do I think men, if there's something about men being threatened by ambitious women, I think it's not only exclusive to men. I think there is a thing about certain people that are threatened by ambitious people, especially ambitious women of color, because we are seen as the minority, the underdog. So sometimes it's a little bit of like the audacity that you think you could do this, there's a threat, and I don't like what they're doing to Kamala. Now, I don't know too much about Kamala's political history. I know there's a few murky waters there with maybe a few things that she's done, and I don't know too much. But I know that as soon as I heard her get announced, I just started to see like all these things come out of nowhere about her, like all these crazy things. And then what I thought was incredibly interesting was then I felt, she was meant to be this first a black candidate, and then all of a sudden there was a discussion of, is she really black because her mother's Indian? And it was just like, I felt like it was very divisive. And even though it was black people I had speaking about this, I didn't feel like it had come from black people. I had just felt like this was a lot of divisive behavior and language that had been put in so that people are just like not even messing with Kamala. So then that once again throws off the votes for Joe Biden. So I didn't like it. And it reminded me of when Obama started running for president, and all of a sudden there was this attack on Michelle, and it was like, because it's not that he just has a housewife and she's cute, she does her thing, but he has an educated housewife who has an extremely successful career, and if she wanted to, she really could have been his vice president if she wanted to. They could have been double teamed. And so what did they do? They attacked her. They saw him.
Can I just say real quick? In a more progressive world, she would have been the president, because I don't know if you guys know already, but Obama was actually Michelle's intern at their law firm.
Yeah.
That's how they met.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's my point. It's because these women, or these women of color, should I say, they aren't like uneducated women that they can kind of box. These are incredibly smart women who in a position could actually make a difference, and that is a threat to people. And I don't understand how ambition is a threat to people, but you know what, like, bums really like company is what I've realized. And so you right. Let me tell you one thing. I don't know about you guys, but the bums I see, you never really see them by themselves. The bums travel in a pack, they're just together. And so bums like company, and they really don't like if somebody's doing better than them, especially somebody who they feel doesn't deserve it, and then that's a woman of colour. They feel like doesn't deserve it. I feel like I could go on. I'm just gonna move this along to somebody else. They can chip in.
I could listen to you hear it. I could listen to you talk about it.
The Anissa show.
Yeah,
I think for me, there are some men who are threatened by ambitious women, and I think one of the reasons is because we have lived in a society that has attributed ambition as a male characteristic. Yeah. So it's okay for a man to be ambitious. It's acceptable for them to be ambitious. But if a woman is just like, that's kind of, and we don't say it, but that's, for me, that's what it boils down to. Like, that's something that's more masculine. And if a woman is ambitious, you're like, don't show that you're ambitious. Do it with a smile. Like, don't seem too harsh about it. And you have someone like Kamala who actually tried to run for president herself and then dropped out. So this is someone who's like, actually, I think I have what it takes. And I think that I'd be a good choice to run this country. And I think people feel threatened by a woman standing in her power, standing in her strength, standing in her knowledge. And I'm really glad that Joe picked her. But I think the backlash would have been so big if he didn't, considering everything that went down when it got revealed that some of his people were saying, no, she's too ambitious.
Yeah.
Sophie, you said it all, to be honest, and I feel as though some men do have a problem with ambitious women, and I actually speak to my boyfriend about this quite often because some of the times when he says stuff to me and he encourages me to do stuff, or he tells me how proud he is of me, and I'm just like, oh wow, babe, like thanks, and he's like, why are you thanking me? Like, it's just normal. I'm like, but babe, not a lot of men would be happy to be with a woman that's the way I am and a go-getter. He's like, but well, some men aren't men, So it's
again for the people in the back. Say
That's
right. People in the back.
Yeah. I saw it. Listen, when he says that, I'm like, babe, you're there with a word, because it's true. And I think, unfortunately, I don't think it's just men. I think it's people, as Anissa said. I think it boils down to the individual. And when you don't have a good sense of self-worth, that then creates a confidence and a contentment in who you are and what you offer to this world, you then feel intimidated by other people who have a good sense of self-worth. You then see them as being too much, or too this, or too aggressive, or too ambitious. It then becomes negative. But if you are someone who is content and knows what you're worth, when you see someone else who's ambitious, you'll be like, high five, man, come on, how can we work together? Good on you, keep pushing.
Girl.
So I think it's just the individuals, unfortunately.
Boy, everything you just said, Linda, is my whole life, and I think that I for real. But I think I agree with you in terms of it is people, but there is an added layer of offense when you are someone who knows who you are and who is intelligent and who asks tough questions and questions the powers that be. And you're also a female, and you're also highly melanated. Like, it makes people lose their mind. And I just want to double down on what you all said about the vice presidency, because it's really frustrating. It's really an unmeetable double standard to ask Kamala to have all these qualifications for a job and then not want the job. So Joe Biden ran for president 3 times before he was Obama's vice president, and no one once thought, oh, is that a problem? He might want to be president someday. And like you said, there was already 14 other presidents who were vice presidents before they were POTUS, including George W. Bush. So it's really frustrating for them to be like, oh, well, she can't do this and she can't do this and she can't do this. One of the men who said that they didn't like her said that they didn't like how she campaigned. And if you've ever watched any of her debates, all she ever does is stands up for what she believes in. All she ever does is articulates herself and just shows that she's an intelligent woman who's willing to question things that don't seem right to her. Why is that so scary to you? Someone said something about friendship and loyalty, and they were mad that, she had a debate with Biden and she didn't agree with something that he said. And that's just really me thinking, no, you want her to feel inferior compared to him. And so there is that thing of, using the vice presidency as a stepping stone to being the president. But also, Biden, our guy, is 77 years old, So I think in terms of
that old.
He would. If he gets nominated, he'll be the only. Yeah, the oldest president. If he gets it, the oldest president to be a president.
Yeah,
So I think there's also that people are considering, because with Obama having Biden as his vice, Obama was quite young when he went into office. However, Kamala's quite young and Biden's aging, so it just seems a little bit more likely that she's going to have to assume control. And there's so many people that don't want to see a highly melanated woman in the Oval Office. It's true. It's true.
I think one thing that I really liked about this whole situation about Kamala is the black men that rallied behind her, because Newsweek talked about there was a letter written by 100 black men, including like Diddy, Chris Paul, Omar Epps, and they were saying
Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, they were saying these black women, because there was a few women who made it to the short list of potentially being vice presidents. They were like, these women are being unfairly criticised. And it just warmed my heart to see our black man standing behind us, because that's
I'm getting
something
goosebumps.
That's something that we've been asking for. We're like, black men need to stand with us and this, that, and the other. And I'm really glad that they stood out and were just like, no, treat her the same as other men, because we wouldn't, like you said, we wouldn't be saying this about Joe. My man failed 3 times. Someone didn't say, maybe this isn't for you. Like Hillary failed twice. Hillary failed twice. And Hillary failed badly the last time. She failed completely. It was a terrible loss for her.
Horrible.
And now people are just like, let's not put a woman again because, you know, it didn't go well the last time. But we never say that for a man. No one's ever said that to Joe. So
no one's ever said, man, we've had so many straight white males, we better switch it up because the
it's
country
not time to change it.
Exactly.
It's just crazy. But you know what, Linda, you really made me think, like, when you were just even talking about, like, your boyfriend, because when I've been thinking about, like, maybe men being threatened by ambitious women, I didn't even put it down to that level. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking about more society versus the individual level. And it's just super right, because when I speak to my male friends about, like, okay, this is what I want in a partner, X, Y, and Z, they always act like my standards are above and beyond. And it's like, no, because
What's
I know
on the list, girl? What on the list did they have a problem with?
I feel like if I say it, other people are going to judge me as well. So
I'm not going to judge you.
No, go on.
I want to know what they're trying to talk about.
Okay, this is an example. It's such a long-winded example, but I'm going to keep it short. Okay, so for me, just for Anissa, I'm not saying for all women, just for Anissa, at this stage of my life, I would like a man who lives in his own place, whether it's rent or buy. I need a man who lives in rent and lives in his own place. And I'm just going to top 2 reasons. One, it's kind of awkward now at my big old age to be walking past your family. And then second of all, it's because when you live on your own, it's a different level of responsibility. Lots of time when men are in the house with their family, they're not cooking, they're not cleaning, they're not paying the bills. Obviously they're contributing, but they don't even wash the plates, or they're not even washing down the skirting board. Like, they don't know how to run a household. And I can't be with a child at this point. I need to be with a man who knows actually how to run a household. Anyway, when I say it to my male friends, they're like, yo, what if he's getting his life together? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's fine if he's getting his life together, but it just means that we're not in the same place to me. And there's nothing wrong with me wanting a man who is already out on his own, doing his own thing, because that's what I'm doing. And if I want to say, babe, let's go buy a house next year, and hopefully you said, like, there's nothing wrong with me having standards and wanting a man who can meet that standard. And just because I'm ambitious, I want certain things for my life, and they have always tried to talk me off the standard. And I'm like, why are you trying to talk me? If my standards are too high, my standards are too high, and I'm the only one who will suffer. It's not your business. That's the thing, it's not your business. But what I've found is people are threatened if you have a certain standard or ambition or plan for your life in which they can't see themselves attaining to, and that threatens them. So instead of saying, you know what, you do what you, and I'm excited to see your journey and see if it happens for you, they try to talk you down. They try to make you
tell you it's impossible.
Exactly. And I do not have the energy for it. I just don't.
I understand that way too much, and I think people can only deal with other people and relate to other people based on what they think they can achieve. So a lot of times when people make out like, you know, when people make out like your dreams are impossible, or no one's ever done that before, Kamala can't be the first VP because it ain't been done, it's because you don't see that you can achieve things like that. So please keep it moving. Sophie, girl, what would you go and say?
Girl, I was just going to agree, and I was going to say the guys that are speaking to you, Anissa, they're probably ones who aren't doing it themselves. That's what I would probably say, because no man who's living by himself is going to say that's too much to achieve for. And one thing I love about my husband, one time we had an argument, and I was just like, you know, I don't need you. Like, I don't need you in order to live my. And he was just like, I know you don't. That's why I'm with you, because I wanted someone who didn't. And I was just like, you know, the argument was done. It's like, babe, let's go upstairs.
That's the quickest way to put the fire.
No, but for me,
let's get that mop and buckets.
I'm such a prude.
But my point is, it was so attractive because he was just like, I want a woman who is independent and is running her life. That's what I looked for. And I can say I've never dated a guy who has been felt less than because of my ambition or the person I am, because I think because of the way I kind of, you know, guys, I'm very forceful in what I say. Guys who would be intimidated don't even approach me because it's already like, that's a bit much. And I'm happy with that. I'm like, don't approach because we wouldn't work.
Don't waste your time.
Don't want you anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. But girls, we have so much, we've talked about so much today, but we've actually come to the end of the episode. So I want to say thank you to everyone for watching and listening to episode 10 of Ethnically Speaking. We've loved every single minute of it. We hope you have too. And if you have, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, but help us to keep the conversation going. So down below in the comments, let us know, how do you rock your hair? Do you rock the natural hairstyle? Do you rock the straight hairstyle? How do you decide what hair to rock? Please let us know. But we want to let you know that if you want any information on all the things that we've talked about today, head on over to unitedmelaningroup.com/ES010. The link will be in the description. If you've been watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. We are, of course, going to be back the same time next week. But until then, stay safe and stay alert.